Hi, second grade artists. Now that we've learned more about warm and cool colors, as well as Aboriginal dot painting, also known as pointillism, we are going to start our Aboriginal dot painting inspired warm and cool leaf. All right, so to get started, on our paper on the back, you need to write what? Your name. Okay, then you're going to have this little reference sheet to look at of some different leaves. So you've got sort of like an oak leaf here. That's the kind of like big, strong trees that have acorns. A maple leaf, and then a couple other little leaves. So you can decide sort of what the outline is going to be for yours. For this one, I was looking at this leaf. So maybe on my new one, I'll try a maple leaf. So to start, I'm going to start with the outline of the shape. So I'm looking at my reference sheet, and just very, very lightly, in case I need to erase, I'm going to look at this outer line. And when we're making something that is in nature, everything looks different. So no two leaves are going to be, probably exactly the same. So don't worry about this looking perfect, and don't worry if yours looks a little different than the picture or the person next to you. Just take your time until you like the way yours looks. Okay, and then I'm going to come in to make the stem. And then I'm just going to adjust anything that I want to fix before I add the veins, which is the lines through here. So I'm going to go sort of to each point, and this does not need to be straight. And then I'm going to divide it up even more. So it's kind of like you're making letter V's or letter Y's. So I could go a letter Y off to this side, or just draw a line to make a V. And I'm splitting it up into sections where I can add different colors. Okay, when you've got it split up how you want it to be, you're then going to take your thin Sharpie and trace before we start adding our warm and cool colors. Okay, now that I've got my leaf traced with thin Sharpie, I can just erase any pencil that's still showing. And then I'm ready to start adding the base of my warm and cool colors. So for our warm colors, which remember are colors that make us feel warm, we think of the sun, we're going to start with these neon paints. So that would be these four, right? So yellow, orange, red, and we can include pink. And then for my cool colors, out of these choices, that would be green and blue. So I'm going to use warm colors to paint the inside of my leaf and cool colors to paint the outside. And we're just creating a base before we put our dots on top. So I'm going to take my really small, thin, flat brush so I can get into these little areas. And I'm just going to kind of skip around, so put yellow in a few different places that aren't touching, and then switch to orange, red, and pink for the inside of my leaf. And every time I switch colors, I'm going to make sure to wash my brush. Now that I've filled my leaf with warm colors, I'm now going to paint the outer part with cool colors. And I can either just do blue or just do green, or I can do both. So maybe since I just did blue on my other example, I'll do green on this one instead. Now it's your choice how you want to do your cool colors on this background. I think for mine I'm actually going to stop with green here and then finish with blue. So if you want to do both, kind of half and half you could, or you could even paint with a pattern. You could do like green, blue, green, blue. So that's your choice. We just want to stick to warm colors inside the leaf and then cool on the outside. And I'm also going to grab my placemat for this outer part, so that I don't have to clean the table as much. I can just go right onto my placemat when I get on the edges. Okay, so now that I've got my base paint colors all set, I'm going to let this dry for next week. And then next week we're going to be taking our warm and cool colored dots, and we're actually going to be using the back of our paintbrush. So instead of using this side, we're going to use this side to dip in some tempera paint and create our dots. So let's get started on our base.